Dax Blue Magic Ultra Sheen Softy. You shouldn't be using hair grease on your hair. All they do is create build-up and blocks your hair follicles, which in turn prevents your hair growth, right? Stick around to find out the truth. What's up curlies, it's your girl Kiki and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I do all things curly hair tips, product reviews and styling. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the topic of hair grease and whether it prevents your hair from growing. So let's get into the video. So what is hair grease? In most formulations, hair grease is a blend of mineral oils and petrolatum, which are used to seal in moisture. Mineral oil is a clear, odorless liquid. It is an oily product that is a byproduct of the distillation process of petroleum. Mineral oils are often used in hair care and skin care, and they have lots of benefits due to their properties of sealing and locking in moisture, preventing dehydration of skin or hair. So why in the natural hair community is there such a huge thing about us using hair grease to grow our hair or retain length? And what is the stigma around using hair grease? We have been using these for years and years. I know for me personally, when I was younger, I used to get my hair braided and my mum would always put the Blue Magic in the fridge to make sure it was nice and cool by the time she needed to put it on my hair. And this was a staple in my household anytime I would get my braids redone. But we have seen a lot of the natural hair community comment on grease as to being something that potentially blocks our hair follicles and prevents hair growth. So let's just dive into that a little bit more. So some of the cons of using hair grease on your hair is that it can create build-up. This is kind of like for any product, it can kind of create build-up, but for hair grease, because it is such an emollient, a product that creates a barrier around the hair shaft and prevents moisture coming into the hair, but also locking in the moisture that's already there, this can obviously prove a little bit of a problem when it comes to re-moisturising the hair after we have applied the hair grease, because it creates that barrier that prevents anything from getting in and essentially anything from getting out. For those people who maybe do not clarify their hair well enough and they use hair grease and they maybe do like a co-wash instead of a shampoo, or they don't clarify using a strong enough cleanser on their hair, maybe they use a gentle cleanser or something that's just not harsh enough to remove all of the product that is on the hair, then that's when we may see build-up happening and dryness happening on the hair shaft. It's also been claimed that hair grease can block the hair follicles on the scalp. Now again, we can look at it two ways. Either it can lock in the moisture on the scalp, which can prevent dryness of scalp and itchy scalp, but it can also maybe block the hair follicles again a little bit if that is not removed efficiently on your shampoo days. So if you're someone who obviously constantly applies grease to your scalp and you don't shampoo your hair regularly enough, then it could maybe cause some issues with hair growth. However, this has not been proven. Another issue that we see with hair grease, being that it does create a barrier, is that it does not moisturise your hair. Although it does lock in moisture that is already there, it does not actually provide your hair with any moisture. It is strictly an oil kind of based product. Although it is not a natural oil, it is still an oil-based product, and oils do not moisturize our hair. In order to use a hair grease efficiently, you need to make sure that on wash day you are using some sort of moisturizing product with water and a leave-in conditioner with maybe some aloe vera or some glycerin or a nice ingredient that's going to moisturize your hair. And then after you've applied those products, you use the hair grease very last in your hair care regimen to sealing all of that moisture and lock it in. Where we start going wrong is if we just use water and we just apply the hair grease straight onto our hair with nothing else on it and we leave it as is. That is when maybe you will see some dryness happening when you're not properly moisturizing your hair. And finally, if you have fine hair, then you may also see some negative effect of grease weighing down your hair because it cannot simply take the heaviness of that product and the greasiness of it. But that is like for any product. If someone with straight hair uses oil, you have to just be really careful with the amount of product you use. If you are using grease and your hair is on the finer side, or you have straight hair, like, your hair is not going to be able to withstand the thickness of that product and the density of it, so it will weigh it down. So let's get into some of the benefits of why hair grease is actually quite helpful for us natural hair girls in our hair journey. So the first thing and the most important thing that I think is that it can help aid in length retention. It's not proven to stimulate hair growth, but it is a good tool to help retain length. So if you have longer hair and you are maybe finding it a little bit difficult to retain length due to the fact that your hair is longer, it is harder to maintain, it goes through a little bit more friction on a day-to-day basis and more manipulation, grease could be a really good one to add into your hair care regimen, because it will create a barrier over the hair which will protect it from any environmental damage or anything that it comes into contact with on a day-to-day basis. It's just going to make your hair a little bit more protected than if you maybe didn't use it, especially on those ends. It also is a great one if you go swimming regularly, because it will also prevent your hair from becoming dehydrated due to the chemicals in the swimming pool. As well as that, hair grease can help soften the hair, it can prevent frizz, and again that is due to the fact that it creates a barrier and it doesn't allow moisture to get into your hair cuticles and your hair as easily as it would without it. So if you're someone who lives in a maybe warmer climate and you use products that maybe attract moisture into the hair and your hair goes frizzy easily, hair grease is going to be a really nice addition to your hair care regimen to prevent that from happening as easy. Not to mention that hair grease is very budget friendly, so it is a really good one if you maybe don't want to spend too much money on your silicone based products. You can opt for a hair grease and that will last you quite a while, because these tubs are really big. So if you're someone who's maybe using hair grease on a weekly basis, or you're someone who's considering to use hair grease on a weekly basis, I would not be put off by all of the hearsay, what you hear on the internet and in the natural hair community about you should stop using hair grease because it will prevent your hair growth, or you should use it because of this reason. I think that if you use something and you really like it and your hair gets on really well with it, I would continue to use it personally. And I know that I've started to use more of these chemical based products and more of these old school products that we used to use, and I am now implementing them back into my hair care regimen, because I'm at the point where I want to retain a little bit more length. And although the natural and organic hair products are really good, sometimes you just need something a little bit stronger and a little bit more durable to really ensure your hair is retaining length. And unfortunately, some of these natural hair products just don't give me those benefits. Although they are very nice and moisturising, it does not provide me with any sort of protective barrier like a silicone product would do or a hair grease product would do. So I am now implementing these back into my hair care regimen. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what your thoughts are on this topic and if you use hair grease or you maybe don't use hair grease, and I will see you in the next video.